Hello and welcome back to my channel. I just got back from Las Vegas for this year's Microsoft Excel World Championship. As always, it was a great time. I got to see all my friends, got to play some wonderful cases, and now I'm here to bring these cases to you. Today I'm going to start with the first case. This is from the Last Chance Qualification Round. So if you got knocked out in the rounds early or you are a participant in the Active Cell conference that was happening at the same time, you got to try this case and try to make your way into the championship. This case is based off of I'll just say a very popular arcade game. I'll just, show the arcade game here so you can see what it's like. And let me read the instructions for you. VSTACK Man is the hottest classic cabinet arcade game for any Excel enthusiast's collection. VSTACK Man loves stacking code blocks together as high as he can, and he just discovered a labyrinth full of data packets. In this game, you will help VSTACK Man traverse the code block maze, collecting as many blocks as possible while avoiding anything trying to get in his way. All right, so as in a typical case, we have 7 levels here. We have, I believe, 140 questions. Yep, 5 bonus questions to solve at the end. Let's see how long it can take. Follow along with me as I work through a complete solve. And here we go. All right, let's go down here. Level 1. What character or symbol appears at each of the cell addresses in the maze? Hint, none of the query cells will be empty. All right, so here is the maze. Let me go ahead and make a copy of this. We'll just, yeah, there we go. L1, and let's go up here, row, column, address, and we'll call that value. And for this maze, we're going to name this as MP, so I don't have to highlight my every single time. To get the row, I'm going to do to-call map MP row. Same thing for column. Here, and then for the address, I'm just going to take these 2 values and actually use the address function. That would probably help, wouldn't it? That's the syntax for that. And then the value, I'm just going to call MP there. Now, once I get all that, now I have all of the map items labeled to their respective addresses. So if I just go ahead and look up these addresses in this column, return the value, that should give me the answer for all of the questions in level 1. Excellent, let's go to level 2. How many code blocks, represented by that little dot, does VSTACK Man pick up after moving across a sequence of 10 spaces in the maze? Include the starting location if it has a code block. So we're looking at these addresses here. Are they code blocks? If so, we're going to count them. So we're going to look up these addresses here. Once again, in that same table, return the value. That's going to give us a list of 10. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4 code blocks here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see if that equals a code block. So I'm just going to hard code that in there. That's going to give me a bunch of, that's going to give me a bunch of trues and falses. So if I turn those into numbers, let's see, I'm probably going to need an extra parenthesis here. So I'm just going to put that in. That's going to give me 4. Excellent. Let's go ahead and put that in and solve this level. There we go. All right, level 3. Code blocks can only be picked up once. They were picked up the first time as a space where the code block is visited. How many code blocks does VSTACK Man pick up after moving across a sequence of 30 spaces in the maze? Include the starting location if it has a code block. So now we have a sequence of 30 moves, and we are going to see if he goes over that space first, and it's a code block, we're going to count it. So we're on level, I forgot the number, 3? Yes, okay. So let's go ahead and get this information in. We're going to get our runner for our data table. If I can type. That's what actually screwed me up in Vegas, is I just can't type. There we go. All right, so sequence. We said that's 30 move. We're just gonna bring this in. There we go. And then let's count. Actually, let's see what the value is in those. So we're gonna look up the moves. We're gonna use this table again, bring out the value. There we go. They're all code blocks. Excellent. And let's see if this is the first time. So this is a nice little trick I learned from Dim. We're going to X match these values in this list, and as long as they equal the sequence number, that means it's the first time that we've run into them. So we see here, this is the second time we run into AA29, so we are not going to count that. So now to get how many code blocks, we are going to do two conditions. So this equals the code block there, and then this is true. So we got a bunch of numbers here. We're going to sum those together. And that did not. Oh, why do you want to do that, Excel? I don't want that there. I want that here. There we go. We get 29. All right, excellent. Let's run the data table. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Come on, man. Learn the keyboard. Data table based off of this cell there. Okay. There we go. All right. Level 4. How many code blocks does VSTACK Man pick up before hitting a wall, giving a starting cell and direction? Include the starting location if it has a code block. Okay, so we need to just continuously go until we hit a wall. So let's go ahead and do level 4 for this one. Let's get all the relevant information in there. What do you mean? What? That was interesting. I never had that error before. All right. Now this time the directions are represented by fingers. So let's do direction, row, column, and let's do sort unique. Let's bring out all the fingers from this level. There we go. So left is same row, -1 column, same row, 1 column, negative row, 0 column, positive row, 0 column. There we go. All right. So, let's do sequence. And for the sequence, I'm going to do whatever the maximum of these row and column numbers are. I know we're not going to actually get that many, but that'll at least tell me how far I should go. 40. Okay. And now over here, I am going to do cell. The first cell is going to be that one. And let's bring out the row and column numbers for that. So I'm going to look that up into this table, and these first two was my row and column number. There we go. And then for the result, I'm going to do another XLOOKUP there from the cell return the item. So I get a 0. That's actually a blank cell. That's okay. And then actually what I can do is I can look up this finger here and return these row and column numbers there. So what that can do is I can take that plus those numbers there. So I'm going to get the next cell. I can take this row number, this column number, use it by 4 to get the cell number. And then for the result, I can do that same XLOOKUP again. Yep, and there's still nothing there. Now, if I did that right, ooh, I cannot do that. Oh, wait, why did that not work? Oh, okay, that's why that did not work. This has to be locked. Now that works. Okay, so let's just bring it, whoa, not that many times. Down one more time, make sure that still works. That does. I do get a code block this time. And I didn't want to highlight 2 rows, but I highlighted 2 rows. Okay, now sometimes this is going NA. That's fine. The reason it's going NA is because it's going off of the map. I'm okay with that. The thing is, we hit a wall there. Now, what we need to do, we need to identify where we hit the wall. And to do that, let's get all of the values. So sort unique, get all the values from this part of the maze there. And these are the walls. The reason why I did sort is because that way it puts all the walls together. So these are walls, and these are not. There we go. Okay, so we're going to XLOOKUP that against this table, return this value. I'm going to add an if not found is just going to be false. That does not take care of these errors down here. But to be honest, that should be fine because according to this maze, I should always hit a wall. I'm never going to hit a wall there. I really hope that's not one of the questions. All right, so true is there. So now to get the number of code blocks. Okay, so get the number of code blocks. We're going to take the result. We're only going to take however many rows until we hit true. I just did that backwards. True goes first. Okay, so that should be how many of everything I get. Very good. And then equals this code block here. We put parentheses around that. All right, so we got a bunch of trues, and then we can turn those into numbers and sum them together. I get 6, which is the example answer. There we go. Let's run the data table. Oops. And everything lines up. Excellent. All right, level 5. Eek, bugs. A bug has come in to stop the stacking fun. If VSTACK Man and the bug end up in the same cell at the same time, the game ends and VSTACK Man can't make any more moves. The bug has the same movement each game, but VSTACK Man takes a different run with a different starting location each game. How many code blocks does VSTACK Man pick up after moving across a sequence of 100 spaces in the maze? Include the starting cell and the cell VSTACK Man's run into if a bug has a code block. Ignore power-ups. Remember that you can collect each code block only once. The bug and VSTACK Man will always land on the same spot if they touch. You do not need to account for them passing through each other. Okay. So let's put this on another sheet. That's quite a lot going on here in level 5. And there we go. Get my runner in. All right. So we have VSTACK Man. We have a bug. We need to see how many code blocks he picks up before the bug hits him. All right, and each code block can only be picked up once. Okay, so sequence of 100. So we're going to get VSTACK's position. We're going to get a bug's position. It's up here. And I guess now that we know that, we can know if they hit, right? Alright, so do they hit somewhere? They hit right here, move 34. Okay, yep. Alright, and then let's see the value of where the VSTACK guy is. So we're going to XLOOKUP that all the way over here in the table in level 1. And return the value there. So that gets us what he gets. And then is it the first time? So I'm going to use that same X-match trick. X-match the VSTACK position in this list, and does that equal the sequence number? So we see here, for example, Y13 we've already run into before up here, so that's false. That's good. And then let's see if we count these. So can I do active? Let's see if I do active. Scan one array. And the function is going to be if, oh wait, yeah, v and a, value and array. If array, then 0v, does that do it? Does that do it? Does that do it? That does do it. The only problem is we need to count that one. I was worried about that. I was worried about that. We need to count that one. Okay, then we're not going to do the scan function because I'm still not familiar with the scan function. I'm going to do this. If that is a hit, then actually, if that's a hit, then just turn it into 0. Otherwise, use the cell before, right? That should do it, right? We're hit here. We count that cell. Good. Okay. So here we go. Here we go. Here we go. We're going to say whether these values equal that code block. Turn that into an actual code block. That's going to be trues and falses. Multiply by whether it's active. So it's going to be ones and zeros. Eventually it's going to be all zeros. Yes. We are going to sum all those numbers together. I get 25. The answer is 25. That makes me happy. Let's run the data table. Whoa. Nice visual glitch. Ooh, wrong spots. Oh, that does not make me happy. That does not make me happy. What did I screw up here? What did I screw up here? Let's take a look. 81. Let's see. Those all count. Those all count. Those all count. When do I... these are all true. These are all true. I think these are all true. Where do I hit the bug? All right, AA34. I've reached up before. Yes. There's no bug. Oh. Wait a second. Wait a second. Oh, I'm not counting the first. Right, I need to count the first. There we go. That might help. Let's see if these match up. Yes, they do. Okay, there we go. Small bug, we got it out of the way. Level 6. More bugs have arrived and they are getting out of hand. VSTACK Man needs to grab a power-up to eliminate the bugs, but they have strategically blocked some of the paths in the maze. Good news, the bugs are not moving in level 6. What is the smallest possible number of moves it can take VSTACK Man to grab a power-up, giving a starting cell and avoiding all the bugs? VSTACK Man may find that using the side warps on the maze is the fastest route. If he moves onto a warp space, represented by the two-ended arrows, the next move he will be transported to the warp space on the opposite side of the map. Oh, all right. Now we're getting into the map part. We're getting into distances. So, let me take this. Let me do another copy. This is going to be level 6. Okay, let's go ahead and get all the information from level 6 onto this map here. Let's see, GHIJ. That should get all 4 columns there. Yes, it does. Let's get row column numbers here. So XLOOKUP that. And here, return the row and columns. I'm going to have to put those into a column. There we go. That did not work for the others, probably because I didn't lock these. All right, so that is where I start. This is where all the bugs are located on the maze. All right, we need to get to the power-ups there. So copy this and let me just call this, let's call this targets row column. And to do that, yes, that address here. So we're going to filter these 3 columns where the value equals that disk. So this is where I want to get to with my VSTACK Man. All right, so what I'm going to do is we are going to do the whole nice recursive formulas. I know people don't look to do that, but I think that's the easiest way I can think of. Let me make sure my iterative calculations are on. They weren't. I'm going to turn them on now. There we go. One thing that I need to remember when I do this is I need to make a kill switch. This kill switch is going to achieve 2 things. Number 1, if I reach an error while doing these formulas, that error is going to propagate, it's going to spread, it's not going to go away very easily. The kill switch will allow me to reset the whole map to allow me to continue. Number 2, if I solve this in time, then I can turn the kill switch on so it doesn't continuously calculate as I go on through the lower levels. So, what am I going to do? I am going to start by turning all of these code blocks into a formula. Ooh, but there's also spaces here that doesn't have a code block. All right, so let's find all the code blocks in the maze. I don't think I need to find by format. No, I don't think I need to find by format. Do I have a code block in my clipboard history? I do not. Okay, so actually, if I just put that there, I should only find the ones that are in the maze, right? I think so. All right, so now we got most of the areas, but we also need to include the endpoints. We need to include these blank spaces, and we need to include this middle part. Right, so middle part, middle part, middle part. Ooh, that undid them. Be very careful when you're clicking. Middle part, middle part, middle part, middle part. Don't forget that. Middle part. I think that's everything, right? Let's turn that all into ones. I think that's everything. All right. All right, I'm going to set this aside just in case I need to reselect them all again, but let's start with the kill switch. Where's my kill switch? There's my kill switch. So, if the kill switch is on, turn everything to 0. That's how the kill switch is going to work. All right, then if the row of the cell that's highlighted equals this row here, and the column of the cell highlighted equals this column there, you need to put these in parentheses because these are conditions, then that's going to be the starting point anyway. So I'm going to label that as 0. We're not going to count the starting point. Right. Okay. Now I got that. Let me count for the bugs. And, ooh, this is going to be if or. So I'm going to do a similar kind of formula. Yeah, let me just do the ors and ands for this. And column equals that one there. All right, so that is. Let me take that out. So this and statement. So that's going to tell me if I hit the bug. That's the statement for the first bug. So 1, 2, 3 there. So that's first bug. Let's get the second bug. This one's going to be the third bug. All right, so that. Oh, see, this is the dangerous part. That color does not match the green color, which I was hoping for. And that's because I didn't close my and statements there. Okay, now that's going to work. Right, and now if it's bug, I'm going to turn it into 999. That's an arbitrarily large number, and I'm going to do that because that's going to tell VSTACK Man to stop. If it is false, we're going to take the lowest number around us. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's no corners involved. And we are going to simply add 1 to that number. That's going to close out that if statement, which is going to close out the second if statement, which is going to close out my kill switch. All right. Now this is hard to see. It's not. It looks like number signs because this is too small. Let me make this bigger. Let's go with 4. Okay, there we go. So now this number sign means there's a bug there. I believe that's 999, right? So it's not letting me continue through that. Now I can find the smallest number, but I need to figure out with the warp side warps here, which is located in 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now the way I'm going to do that is let me take another copy of this maze. I'm just going to put it down here. And what I'm going to do with this maze now is I'm going to calculate the distance from these power-ups back into the corresponding side warps. So, right. I'm going to count these. These are going to count as 1 because I am counting them. And then let's go ahead and click on all the code blocks within this map. There we go. That gets all the code blocks, and I need to add in these spaces here. And I need to add in the spaces in the middle. I don't need to consider the power-ups because I've already done the power-ups. Make sure that's highlighted everything. I think that has. I think that has. I think that has. Okay. So, kill switch first. If kill switch is on, turn everything to 0. Otherwise, if... Oh, wait, where am I? So, M74. Okay, that's an intersection right there. I want to click on the corresponding intersection up here, I believe. That's where it is. Yes. Yes. So if that is 999, meaning there's a bug, I want that to be 999. Otherwise, just take the minimum of the 4 cells around you. Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. This is not L23, that's M23. Yes, let me just double check. Yeah, that's where that is. Oh, good thing I caught that. +1. I think that should actually do it. Let's see. Yeah, so 1 is right there. Okay, good. So now the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take these side warps here and I'm going to add, let's go put it in there, add the corresponding value from the opposite side warp there. Because what that is doing is that is telling me how many spots to get from the exit position of the side warp to the nearest power up. 1, 2, 3, and this one should be 4. There we go. And then I think I can close this now. I'm going to do the same thing to this, but I'm going to do it for the power-ups. Because now the power-ups, now the way that I've done this, the power-ups can also be considered possible endpoints. And I don't know what happened to my formula. There it is. There we go. All right. So now, if I take an index of this entire thing from A1 using these rows and these columns, I get numbers. And to find the smallest possible number of moves, I need to take the smallest number, which is there, 24. And let's see if this works for all of these. Now, one thing I'm going to say is that my Excel is not the best. It's going to take quite a while to calculate. So I'm going to sit here. Okay, that did not take quite a while to calculate. And I got all the right answers. Ooh, that was very suspicious, but hey, I'm happy. Let's turn the kill switch on so that doesn't continue calculating, turns everything off. Let's go down to level 7. All 3 bugs are in the maze now. Their sequence of moves is identical for all the games numbers 121 to 140. VSTACK Man can collect power-ups which will turn him invincible for 30 moves, starting with the move in which he stepped on it. If he crosses paths with a bug during those 30 moves, that bug is eliminated and can no longer affect him for the rest of the game. If the VSTACK Man and a bug simultaneously end on a cell with a power-up, VSTACK Man gets invincible and the bug gets eliminated. Each power-up can be collected only once the first time VSTACK Man lands on the cell. The game will end if VSTACK Man and a bug end up in the same cell in the same move. While VSTACK Man is not invincible. How many code blocks does VSTACK Man pick up after moving across a sequence of 200 spaces in the maze? Include the starting cell and the last cell where VSTACK Man runs into a bug if it has a code block. Hint, there will be no mid-turn frontal collisions. Or when a bug moves... yep, okay. Alright, so we need to do a similar model that we did with level 5 here. So let me just go ahead and get all the information. And how many moves was it? 200 moves, okay. So let's go ahead and get a sequence of 200. And let's see where VSTACK Man is. So that's just going to be a 2 call of that. And let's get to see where our bugs are, which is going to be, I think, can I transpose this? So we get S2, yep, okay, I can transpose that. Okay, so that tells me where VSTACK Man is, that tells me where all the bugs are. Let's see if I get a hit. So I get a hit when these are equal to VSTACK Man there. So I get my first hit there on AF23. Good, okay. So that's where they hit. I will get back to that later. I need to find, well, 2 things actually. I need to find the value of the cell VSTACK is in. So I'm going to XLOOKUP this into this list, return my value, and I just see if it's the first time. So I'm going to XMatch this value against this list, and does that equal the sequence number there? All right, so now we get a bunch of trues until here. AD29 is the second time we hit it. We probably hit it somewhere up here. Yes, we did. Okay, good. So now we know the value. We know if this is the first time. We need to see if it's invincible. Now this one's a pretty tricky formula from what I remember. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this step by step. So I need to take the last 30 rows of that range which starts there. So that's going to give me basically the cells. Does that equal this power up here? So that's going to give me a range of trues and falses. That's fine. And then I need to multiply it by the last 30 cells of that range there. That should be -30. That gives me the last 30 cells from where I am. So trues and falses multiplied by trues and falses, that's going to give me a list of ones and zeros. I can sum those together, and that will tell me where I'm invincible. So that's the first time I'm invincible. I should get invincible for 30 turns. Yes. Oh, this is not getting me invincible. Let's see. That is at AF34. This is at AF34. It's not making me invincible again because I've already hit it. That's exactly what I want. Excellent. All right. Now, let's see here. So let's see if these guys are active. And they're going to be active until I'm invincible and I hit them. So should be this minus. I am invincible times these three. Is that right? Okay, let's see what happens when I hit one. Oh, I think I hit this one here. Yes, I hit him at AF23. I am invincible, so he's gone. All right, good. I'm going to add a max 0 so it doesn't try to go negative. I don't know what's going to happen if it tries. Whoa, no. No, right. If that is less than 0, then just turn it to 0. Otherwise, just use this formula there. There we go. All right, so he is dead there. Okay. Now let's see if I am active. And I'm going to be active until one of those bugs hits me. And I think if I just do hit me in the previous turn and active in the previous turn, I think that would just do it. I think that will just do it. And then if that is less than 0, just leave it as 0. Otherwise, use that. Ooh. Oh, okay. Okay. Did I put ore in here? Will that do that? Alright, let's see. I'm dead at some point. Where am I dead? I'm dead at turn 58. Is that what the instructions say? Alright, so it says he hits me in 57. I have a 0 in 58. That's fine because when he hits me, I'm going to count this code block. Alright, so now I know when I am active. I know... Alright, I think I could do this. I think I could do this. So, take... No, not going to take. I'm just going to say... this equals that code block here times that's active or not. So that's going to give me bunches of 1s and 0s, and I believe if I add all of these together I get 46. What's my key answer? 46. That is a good sign. That is a bad sign. Alright, let's see here. 121. What happened with 121 here? I'm not invincible. I am invincible. Still invincible. Why are these true? What are these true and false? I forgot. That's the first. Okay. Oh, that's why I didn't consider whether it's the first time. Okay, that's probably it. So this should also consider whether I'm hitting these for the first time. Okay, now let's try. That didn't line up. There we go. Okay, that was it. I forgot to consider when it's the first time I hit the block. You only count them when it's the first time. All right, let's take a look at the bonuses. Bonus 1, how many wall segments are in the maze? All right, so I believe group by these values here, return these values here. We're going to count A, sort in the first column because that's going to put all the walls together. So the walls are right there. That's how many walls I have. I have 486. I'm just going to copy that from my status bar. Bonus 2, one code block in the maze has a slightly different font color than the rest. What cell is it in? Oh, okay. So let me do Control F find in here. We're going to set the format to this cell, find them all, highlight them all, and basically what we should be able to do is we should find the one that's not highlighted. There it is. Whew. AE35. All right. Bonus 3. The bugs have names. If you convert the answers from games 68 to 76 using 1 equals A, 2 equals B, all the way down to Z, what is the name of the pink ant who loves to chew? All right. So let's see here. Sequence. We're going to go 76, 68 plus 1, starting at 68. So we're going to look at these games here. X look up those games. I think the game numbers are in column B. Yes. And return the answers which are in column E. Yes. Okay, so there we go. Those are the numbers in the letter bit. In the alphabet? Letter bit? I don't know what that is. If we add 64 to those as values, we're going to get the answer. And it looks like the answer is bubblegum. All right. Lovely name for an ant. All right. Bonus 4. Across all games in level 5, excluding the example, what is the sum of all move numbers where VSTACK Man was caught by a bug? All right. So what we need to do is where we get hit. All right, so we are going to X match true in that column. Now there might be some times where he doesn't get hit, which we're going to return an NA. Does that return an A? Yes, it does. So if NA, return 0. So I'm going to add these numbers together from my status bar. I get an answer of 273. And finally, bonus 5. There is one game at level 7 which VSTACK Man eliminates all 3 bugs. What is that game number? Okay. So we need to figure out which game number are all 3 bugs inactive. Whoops. Let's just sum that together. Equals 0. There we go. So where do we get a true? We get a true here. Game number 135. And that is how you solve the case. So a little bit longer than I expected. 34 minutes solve. I think part of it was level 6 for me. That one was probably the trickiest. I feel this time though, when I did it, it wasn't too bad. I think I got all the answers on the first try, and I was very surprised that the calculations were pretty quick. But I think also through all the explaining and stuff, that's why, you know, it took probably a bit longer. Ooh, merge cells. I didn't even notice that. At least they weren't, you know, major in the calculations there. But yeah, a really fun case. As always, very creative. Thank you so much, Kobe, for this case. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I'm going to try to upload these videos quickly because I know Las Vegas just ended and people have already tried these cases and they're looking for how to solve them. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Keep an eye on this channel. I'm going to try to upload all the other cases very shortly. Hope you have a great time, and I'll see you for the next video.
It's the XL World Championship. Who is going to win? It's the XL World Championship. Who's going in the spreadsheet bin?